Good morning. In today's class, we will summarize whatever kind of recurrence relations we have studied in the earlier lectures. So basically, whenever we have to solve recurrence relations, whether they be homogeneous or non-homogeneous, so we know the two types. One is the homogeneous and the other is the non-homogeneous. So based on this, by now we have seen the 6 theorems and also how to solve the recurrence relation by generating functions. Now, in today's topic, we will summarize the recurrence relation and also we will learn another method to solve the recurrence relation by generating functions. First, to summarize, we will see all the various methods we have seen by now. So the methods of solving recurrence relations are totally 4 methods, out of which we have seen the first 3. Even the fourth one is similar to your theorem 6. So now methods of solving recurrence relations are as follows. The first one is substitution method. The second is generating functions. The third is characteristic roots. And the fourth is undetermined coefficient. Even this we see it in generating functions, but once again we will see a summary of all the 4. So the first and foremost is substitution method. Substitution method is the method that we use to solve the first example of recurrence relation. That is, if you remember the principal amount interest problem, compound interest problem, it was solved by substitution method. Along with that, even the concept of Tower of Hanoi, Hanoi Tower's concept was also solved by substitution method. Now, what is the substitution method? So, if you have a recurrence relation of the form, recurrence relation is of the form an is equal to an minus 1 plus some function of n. Okay. Now, over here, is this a recurrence relation? Let's find out. So, our next term is dependent on the previous term plus some function of n. Yes, it is a recurrence relation. I don't want to check whether it is homogeneous, non-homogeneous, linear or not. For now, we are simply classifying it as a recurrence relation. Now, and the condition is that n value is greater than or equal to 1 always. So for the first substitution method, what you will do is you will take the first term a1 is equal to a0 plus f1. So your initial condition will be given. So you will take that as a0 plus f1. After that, you will take a2. A2 will be a1 plus f2. Now, in the place of a1, you have to substitute this a1 value, the earlier a1 value. So over here, you will write a2 is equal to a1 plus f2. Instead of a1, substitute this entire equation. So we will write a0 plus f1 plus f2. Now, after that, we will take a3. What will be a3? a3 is a2 plus f of 3. I'm sorry, it is f of 3. Now, for that, we have to take, instead of a2, substitute this entire equation now. So we will have a0 plus f of 1 plus f of 2 plus f of 3. Okay. And similarly, this will continue till an. So an will be, so in a3, we were getting f of 3. So an will have a0 plus f of 1 plus f of 2 and so on up to it continues till the series f of n. Okay. Now we can write this equation, the an equation, as an is equal to a0 plus, can we write it in the terms of sigma? Yes. So that is possible. So from k is equal to some constant k is equal to 1 to n f of k. So in this case, this is the solution or the general solution for our recurrence relation. So if you are given some A50, you don't need to find A49, A48. You can directly use A0 plus whatever your term is. So in this case, the general solution we have obtained is by using this substitution method. Apart from this problem, our compound interest problem, Tower of Hanoi problem, and even a few examples that I have given in the introduction of this chapter were by using the substitution method. What is the substitution method? We keep on substituting the previous term's result into the next term's result so that we are not using any kind of formula. We just substitute and get a general formula. Now, similarly, here in the Tower of Hanoi problem also, if you remember, we kept on substituting, increasing the disks in the Tower of Hanoi and tried to get a general solution. Now, apart from that, the next is by using generating functions. For generating functions, I will directly take an example because I have created a few lectures on generating functions. So directly, we will solve the recurrence relation using generating function. Solve the recurrence relation. En is equal En minus 7 minus 1 plus 10 minus 2 is equal to 0 for n greater than or equal to 2. So this is the question. Now, for the same, the solution can be written as, so for this, we will try to write it in the form of steps. So the first step will be, let us consider our generating function a of x is equal to n is equal to 0 to infinity an x power n. That is how we write it, an x power n. Now the next step will be, multiply each term in the recurrence relation by x power n and the sum from 2 to infinity. That is because in our question we have the term an minus 2 and we cannot have this n is equal to 0 to infinity. If we take 0 minus 2, it will be minus 2, a minus 2. So for that reason, instead of n is equal to 0 to infinity, I will take n is equal to 2 to infinity. So whatever this term, the last term of your equation is, it is better you take the sigma notation from that, because otherwise it will give you a irrelevant solution. Now, so we are multiplying each term with x power n and also adding the sigma notation. So over here, n is equal to 2 to infinity an into x power n minus 7. Because 7 is a constant, I don't need to write it in the sigma notation. N is equal to 2 to infinity an minus 1 x power n plus 10 into n is equal to 2 to infinity an minus 2 into x power n is equal to 0. Now, instead of this n is equal to 2 to infinity, I can write it as a of x. But a of x is given as, let's just write the summation in, instead of writing a summation, we will write all the terms. So n is equal to 0 to infinity an x power n. So the first term will be a naught x power 0 plus a1x plus a2x square, and it goes on up to infinity. Now over here, for this first term, n is equal to 2 to infinity we have. So this equation, I'll just write it here. So consider this as my rough work. So for this, I will expand the series here. N is equal to 2 to infinity an into x power n. So this series will be a2x square plus a3x cube. So what about the first two terms? So we can consider this first two terms over here. So a of x, we can even write this as a of x minus a naught minus a1x is equal to a2x square and till infinity. Okay, so this is equal to the same thing what we have written over here. So instead of this n is equal to 2 to infinity, now this series is also starting from a to x square, and even this is starting from a to x square. So we can replace this term by a of x minus a naught minus a1x. Once again, just pause the video and try to write the problem in a notebook so that you understand what I am doing over here. A of x minus a naught minus a1x. So this is the first term. Now for this term n is equal to 2 to infinity a n minus 1. What will happen if I expand it? So for the expansion of this term, it will give me what you are supposed to do over here is substitute. So you will get 2 minus 1 a1 x square plus a2 x cube. What is the difference between these two series? For a1, you had a1 is the coefficient of x over here. Here a1 is the coefficient of x square. So what you can do is you can take an x common, or you can take x outside the sigma notation. So you can write it as 7x, and here I'll write as n minus 1, so that the coefficients subscript and the x power matches. So in this case, now what will happen is an minus 1 x power n minus 1, if I write, this can be replaced by a1x plus a2x square plus and so on. Now here for this I can write this as a of x minus a naught will give me a1x plus a2x square. So this can be written, this term can be written as, I am speaking about the sigma notation, this term. So instead of this term, minus 7x is not considered in the sigma notation. For this we can write 7x into a of x minus a naught. Now why am I not taking this a1x? Because a1x is already considered in our sigma notation. Now plus 10, now n is equal to 2 to infinity means an minus 2 will give you a naught. But here you will get x square. So x square can be taken common over here, and you can write this as x power n minus 2. And make sure you are doing these changes in the next step instead of in the same step. So plus 10x square into, now once it becomes an minus 2 x power n minus 2, what will happen is this series will start from a naught plus a1x plus a2x square, and it will continue. So this is 10x square into a of x. Okay. Now this is the third step. The third step is, I'm just writing the third step over here, the theoretical part. The third step is replace each infinite sum by an expression from your step 1. I have shown how you have written it. Now the next thing will be, then we have to simplify. That is, to simplify, we are supposed to take a of x as common. So let's write it. In the first, we have a of x. From here, a of x, and a of x. I will take the entire a of x common. So we will get 1 minus 7x plus 10x square. If you notice, this is the same thing here. 1, instead of an I have got 1, instead of an minus 1 I have got x, and an minus 2 I have got x square. So 1 minus 7x plus 10x square. Now after that, what are all the other leftover terms? A naught, a1x, a naught. We will take that on the other side. So that will be a naught plus a1x minus 7a naught x, or simply if we want to write a of x, then it can be given as a naught plus a1x minus 7a naught x. And also, if you are using capital X, you have to keep on using capital X, or otherwise use small x for the entire problem. Don't change the capital X to small x while doing the problem. So this can be written as 1 minus, this is taken in the denominator. After that, what I will do is, how do we create, what are the factors for this 1 minus 7x plus 10x square? So I can write it as x I am taking common in the numerator. So a1 minus 7a naught into x by the factorization for this quadratic equation will give me 1 minus 2x into 1 minus 5x. Now here we will be using partial fraction decomposition. So this is your fourth step. Fourth step is simply simplify the equation, and then fifth step will be decomposition. So partial fraction decomposition is something you have already studied in mathematics, so I'll just directly write this step. Decompose a of x using partial fraction. Now for this we can write a of x as, so partial fraction will be, you have to take some constant c1, which will be c1 by 1 minus 2x plus c2 by 1 minus 5x, where you have to mention what this c1, c2 are, where c1 and c2 are constants. Now once these are written as constants, the sixth step will be express a of x as a series. What kind of series? Your geometric function, your generating functions you have created, that kind of series. So if you remember, in the case of generating functions, I have given you the formula 1 by 1 minus ax will be equivalent to sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity a power n into x power n. So this notation we will be using. So let's write it. A of x is equal to c1 by 1 minus 2x plus c2 by 1 minus 5x. Now for that we will be using this notation, while c1 and c2 are constants, so they will be outside the sigma. They will not be considered with the sigma. So c1 n is equal to 0 to infinity. What is a over here? 2. So 2 power n into x power n plus c2 into sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity 5 power n into x power n. Now we know that this is the term we had multiplied with. So this n is equal to 0 to infinity x power n, we took the summation and multiplied with x power n. So we can ignore it and we can write this as a of x was this, and we considered a of x as in the first step here. A of x is given as n is equal to 0 to infinity a n into x power n. So what we are doing is we are writing that a n here. So here we will be writing a n as the seventh step will be express a n as the coefficient of x power n in a of x and in the sum of the other series. So what we are supposed to do, since we multiplied these two things, we added these two things to our series while we started the program, so we can ignore these two and we can write this a n as c1 into 2 power n plus c2 into 5 power n. Now this problem that we have done can also be solved by using the characteristic roots. That is, we can use any one of one of our theorems. So since the roots are 2 and 5, then our we will be using theorem 1, I believe. You can check it, but for now our general solution is an is equal to c1 into 2 power n plus c2 into 5 power n. Now suppose if we are given the initial conditions value as a0 is equal to 10 and a1 is equal to 41, then how can we find the c1 and c2 values? You're supposed to find two equations and get the values. So for if the initial conditions are this, then the c1 value will be, by using this initial condition, we will get c1 as 3 and c2 as 7. I have already shown you in the earlier classes how to use the initial condition values, so please use that. And now once we get this 3 and 7, our final solution, that is the final general solution, will be an is equal to 3 into 2 power n plus 7 into 5 power n. So this is the general solution by using generating function. Now in the examination, if the question is only given in this way with no method specified, you can do the characteristic roots or you can use the generating function. It is your wish. Generating function, if it is specified, or characteristic roots is specified, you have to do that method only. Otherwise, if there is nothing specified in the question, you can use any one of the methods. Similarly, we will take another example. Now for this example, I'll directly give you the first equation and the last. You can try solving it by yourself by looking at the previous example. So the question is, solve the recurrence relation an minus 9an minus 1 plus 26an minus 2 minus 24an minus 3 is equal to 0 for all n is greater than or equal to 3. Now for this, the solution is as follows. So first we have to consider a of x is equal to n is equal to 0 to infinity an x power n, and also for the generating function problems, they are a bit difficult, so it is always better to write it in the form of steps rather than doing it continuously, so that you remember each and every step. And after that, what we have to do, multiply our equation with x power n and also add a summation. Now in this case, the summation should be from n is equal to 3. In the earlier case, our last term in the equation was n minus 2, so we took n is equal to 2. But in this case, our equation is n minus 3, so we will have to take the summation from n is equal to 3 to infinity. So this is what I am saying. So this will be n is equal to 3 to infinity an x power n minus n is equal to 3 to infinity 9. 9 is a constant, so consider it here. An minus 1 x power n plus 26 n is equal to 3 to infinity an minus 2 x power n minus 24 n is equal to 3 to infinity an minus 3 x power n is equal to 0. Now after that, what you are supposed to do is make this powers of x equal to the subscript of a. So you have to take an x outside the sigma. Similarly, here you take an x square with 26, that is, consider this as x power n minus 2 and over here x power n minus 3. After that, what you are supposed to do in the third step? Third step is replacement. So you have to replace each term. So here, instead of this term, we will get a of x minus, since this term will begin with, let me just mention it here, it will start with a3 x cube. So what about the first a0, a1x, a2x square? So we will mention it with this a of x minus a0 minus a1x minus a2x square. This is your first term replacement. After that, you have to continue writing for all the other terms. Then take a of x common, move the other terms to the other side, do partial fraction decomposition and so on. So in the final step, you will get a of x as, that is when you take constants. You will get 3 constants because you have you're using 3 previous terms to find an. So in that case, you will get 3 constants. C1 by 1 minus 2x plus C2 by 1 minus 3x plus C3 by 1 minus 4x. And then you can use the 1 by 1 minus 1 by 1 minus ax formula, which will be equal to sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity a power n into x power n. Okay, don't get confused with this. Here we are using a power n. Here we have an, a naught, a1, a2. So these are two different things that we are using. Okay, and now the next will be, after using this, what you will do is you will ignore the sigma and x power n terms, and your solution for an will be an is equal to c1 into 2 power n plus c2 into 3 power n plus c3 into 4 power n, where c1, c2 and c3 are constant. And this is the solution if initial condition is not given. If initial conditions are given as follows: a0 is equal to 0, a1 is equal to 1, a2 is equal to 10, then please try to find out what is c1, c2 and c3 values. You can verify it with me if you have found out the values for c1, c2 and c3. Please mail me the results and tell you whether it is correct or not. Similarly, take another example as an exercise and try to solve it by yourself. So the example is minus 8a n minus 1 plus 21a n minus 2 minus 18a n minus 3 is equal to 0. So in this case also you will get three constants c1, c2 and c3, and the condition will be n is greater than or equal to 3. So this concludes the topic generating functions. Since we have already studied a lot of theory and concept of generating functions, I directly proceeded with the problems. And after generating functions, the next methodology is characteristic roots. And so we have completed substitution, generating functions, and next is characteristic roots. Now characteristic roots are the 6 theorems that we have studied for solving both homogeneous and non-homogeneous equations. For the characteristic roots, you have to refer back to your 6 theorems. Now, with respect to characteristic roots and all these methods, generating functions and characteristic roots are very, very important. Usually, whenever you get a homogeneous recurrence relation, it is always better to use characteristic roots if there is no method specified in the question. If in your question it is specifically mentioned to use generating functions, then use generating functions. Otherwise, characteristic roots method is very simple. And also, make sure you understand all these topics because these are very, very important for 7 marks. That is your LAQs. Now, the next method, undetermined coefficients, is for your non-homogeneous recurrence relations. That also we have already seen. But here the method is that we usually guess the general form of a particular solution, and then we divide our recurrence relation into two associated homogeneous recurrence relation, and the equation that we have to find the particular solution for. So for this method to be successful, we usually require a little bit more experience because it is not easy to generally guess the general solution for any given term. So with respect to this, we will see a few problems in the next class. Now the next topic and the final topic is characteristic solution of inhomogeneous recurrence relation. Actually, it comprises of both the topics, that is characteristic roots. So this is characteristic roots, and along with that we have the other topic which is solution of inhomogeneous recurrence relation. Also, this inhomogeneous recurrence relation is also known by the name non-homogeneous recurrence relation. Now, for this non-homogeneous recurrence relations, we have already seen how to solve them in the generating function topic of the earlier lecture. Now in this lecture actually we will just summarize and see a few formulas that we are supposed to check, that we are supposed to know while we are solving generating functions. Whenever we are solving non-homogeneous, and now I am saying once again, non-homogeneous and inhomogeneous are one and the same thing. Then if the recurrence relation is given as an plus c1 an minus 1 plus and so on up to ck an minus k is equal to f of n for some n greater than or equal to k, where the coefficient ck is not equal to 0 and f of n is some specified function of n. Then we call this f of n as, f of n is called as the forcing function of, it is the forcing function of inhomogeneous recurrence relation. Inhomogeneous recurrence relation. Now what we do is we attempt to find a solution using generating functions, that is what we have already studied. We follow the same procedure that we have used earlier and we multiply our recurrence relation with a of x, capital A of x, that is our generating function series. So how do we solve it? Here we solve it in this way. Let a of x is equal to, n is equal to 0 to infinity an into x power n, multiply each term in the inhomogeneous or non-homogeneous recurrence relation by x power n and sum from, that is we have to apply the sigma notation from k to infinity and replace the infinite terms. So this will be your second step. Replace the infinite sum by one of the formulas, or from equivalent equation, that is replaced by equivalent expression or equation, and then solve it with initial condition. Now let's take an example. The question is, find the solution to an minus 1 is equal to 3 into n minus 1, where n is greater than or equal to 1 and where a naught is equal to 2. So for this, let's take the solution. What are we first supposed to do? We are first supposed to take a of x. Let a of x is equal to, n is equal to 0 to infinity a subscript n x power n, then multiply each term of the recurrence relation by x power n and sum from 1 to infinity. Then we have n is equal to 1 to infinity. To an, I am multiplying it with an into x power n minus n is equal to 1 to infinity an minus 1 into x power n is equal to 3 into sigma n is equal to 1 to infinity n minus 1 into x power n. Now how can we solve this? Replace each infinite sum by an expression of this a of x. So we have already seen earlier in the earlier session that here the series is starting from n is equal to 1. So we will first have a1 x power 1. But this is a naught. A of x is starting from a naught. So we have to write a of x minus a naught minus, here we will start n minus 1. So x will be taken common, and again this will start from a naught. So this is directly taken as x into a of x. This, what I am doing over here, has been already solved. So instead of that, what I will do is, I've already explained how to form this equation. So please refer to the previous lecture. Now the next will be the last equal to f of n function. Now for this f of n function, we require some explanation. What is that? So how should we expand it? Let's see that first. So this is not in the actual problem. Consider this as rough work. So this will be taken as 3 into, if we substitute n is equal to 1 to infinity. So first n is equal to 1, 1 minus 1 into x power 1. This will be 0. First term is 0. Second term, n is equal to 2. 2 minus 1, 1 into x square. So this will be x square. After that, we have n is equal to 3. 3 minus 1, 2. And this will be x cube. 2x cube. And 3x power 4. And this will go on. Now what I can do is, I can take x square common. So 3 into x square plus, so over here in the bracket we will have the first term will be 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus 4x cube, and this will continue. So now instead of this infinite series, what I can do is, I have this formula table which has been given in your textbook also. So please look for the table. So instead of that, if we have 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus 4x cube and so on, I can replace it by this formula, 1 by 1 minus x square. So instead of that entire series, I am replacing it by 1 by 1 minus x square. So over here I have 3x square, and I have to write instead of this 1 by 1 minus x square. So let's write that 3x square by 1 minus x square whole square. Let's just verify once again. Yeah, 1 by this formula I am referring to. You have all these formulas in your textbook. Please refer to the same. We have already seen this one, and yeah, till here we have seen. So from here, this is a new formula. So you can refer it directly from this lecture, or you can even refer to the textbook. So you have to remember that if we have a series of this form, infinite series, 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus and so on up to infinity, it will be equal to 1 by 1 minus x whole square. Now after that, what should we do? We have to take a of x on the left side and move all the other terms to the right hand side. So a of x can be taken common. 1 minus x is equal to a naught plus 3x square by 1 minus x whole square. After that, a of x can be written as a naught by 1 minus x plus 3x square by 1 minus x whole cube. Now this is the final result. How should we write it? This can be written as a naught by 1 minus x can be written as a naught value is given as 2. Yeah, so a naught value is given as 2. So what I will do is, I will write a naught value, and what is 1 by 1 minus x? It is equal to sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity x power n. So 2 into sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity x power n plus, now what about this term? This term can be written as, so we have 3x square by 1 minus x cube. So instead of this, we can write it as from again going back to our table, this can be written as 3 by 2 sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity n into n minus 1 into x power n. How are we getting this? We are using our table again. Apart from that inverse transformation, then we are getting this. So this can be written as an is equal to, our final general solution is 2 plus 3 by 2 into n minus 1 for n is greater than or equal to 0. Apart from this, you can also use the method of generating functions that we have seen earlier, and you can solve the same. Now another example, take it as an exercise. An minus 5a n minus 1 plus 6a n minus 2 is equal to 2 power n. Try to solve it either by the earlier method we have seen in the generating functions or the one I taught you now. Now finally, we have the method of undetermined coefficients. So this method is for guessing, as I have said earlier, and in the previous class we have seen how we guess the undetermined solution for the same. So for that you can take this example, an minus 7a n minus 1 plus 10a n minus 2 is equal to 7 into 3 power n for n greater than or equal to 2. Example. Now for this, we know what is the characteristic equation directly. It will be r square minus 7r plus 10 is equal to, it can be written as r minus 2 into r minus 5. What are the characteristic roots? The roots will be written as anh is equal to c1 into 2 power n or alpha 1 into 2 power n plus alpha 2 into 5 power n. I'm sorry, this is r minus 2 into r minus 5. So over here we will have r minus 2 Why am I writing h over here? Because this is the homogeneous part. Alpha 1 into 2 power n plus alpha 2 into 5 power n. Now after that, since we have 3 over here, 3 power n, and it is not a root, we take a trial solution an of p, particular solution. This can be written as c into 3 power n, where the constant is c. The constant c we have to find. So substituting c into 3 power n in our equation. So in this equation we will substitute c into 3 power n. C into 3 power n minus 7c into 3 power n minus 1, because an minus 1, plus 10 into c into 3 power n minus 2 is equal to 7 into 3 power n. Now if we take from the entire equation c into 3 power n minus 2 common, this will be equal to 3 square minus 7 into 3 plus 10 is equal to 7 into 3 power n. So here this and this gets cancelled. So this will be equal to c of minus 2 is equal to 7 into 3 square, or c is equal to minus 63 by 2. So we got an of p. So instead of this c, what you can do is you can write an of p is equal to minus 63 by 2 into 3 power n. What will be the general solution? An will be general solution. An is equal to minus 63 by 2 into 3 power n plus c1 into 2 power n plus c2 into 5 power n. So for this, we have already seen, this is here theorem number 6. Theorem number 6. So this is theorem number 6 is basically the method of undetermined coefficient. Okay. So after this, you can solve a few more examples, or I'll give you another example, which is an minus 7a n minus 1 plus 10a n minus 2 is equal to 7 into 3 power n plus 4 power n. So for this, you have to take an of p. you have to guess an of p. So we know that an of p was in the earlier example for 7 into 3 power n we already know. So for 4 power n, what you can do is you have to take c into 4 power n, then substitute it in this and get the result. So for this, the solution will be as follows. So for both of them, an of p for the entire this part f of n will be, I'm giving you the final solution, minus 63 by 2 into 3 power n plus of minus 8 into 4 power n. So we have to take two constants because we have f of n as f of n with two powers. Okay. And this concludes here chapter 4. And after that, try solving various problems because this is very important for your examination.